Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to Thursday night. Welcome to TIMBP Live. I'm Perry. Hope you guys are well. Hope you've had a good week. Hope you've had a good 2 weeks. Because I missed last week because I was on vacation. But Lord knows I needed a little bit of a break. And the funny thing is, I'm on this week. I'm off next week because I will be in Disney World next week. Is the thumbnail really that early times shot? It's really weird. Anyway, just want to say thank you to everybody who's in here. Let's see. Mr. Tony Bag of Donuts was first. Thank you for being here, Tony. Oop, I forgot something. Let's refresh that too. I knew my shot looked a little off. But hello, Tony. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Donnie the Linux Cat made it just in time. Don's here. Hello, Don. All the way in Hawaii. Patrick the Bourbon Noob, who is currently on my... Is it my... Pat, are you on Eastern or Central right now? John from the Embellished Podcast, who said you were allowed to take a vacation. Literally nobody. Literally nobody. David Jeanette. Hello, David. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, too. Early times thumbnail. Gotcha. I will fix... I'll go back and fix that if something's messed up. But Brian, Mr. Abandoned Bourbon here. Brian, it's good to see you in the chat, my friend. Hope you are well. Excited for your all stream tonight. JG Wentworth 877 mash now, mashing that like button, mashing the subscribe like everybody should be doing. What is this horrible YouTuber that I just became? Jay, so good to see you, man. Bourbon. Hey, I've seen this dude before. I seen you before, my guy. Good to have you in the chat. Ben and I met up. Ben, was that the beginning of June? Yeah, it was like the first weekend in June. He was in town. Donnie says it's cooled down to 97. That's good. It's been hot. It's been hot around here. So, housekeeping things. As I said, I will not be live next week because I am going to be on yet another trip. Week after, I will still be on said trip, but I will be going live from sunny Florida. Probably with my sister-in-law, Emma, who was on last year with me for a stream. And I'm just noticing our litter robot is turned off. Huh. I have to fix that. You still don't have an ECBP B522. You're gonna get the A and you're gonna get the C, and you're not gonna see the B for sure. What was I talking about? Not being live next week. That's all, basically. Thank you. Looks like Mitch Gurowitz for being our newest subscriber on the channel. Thank you so much, Mitch. Subscribe if you haven't done so already, please. If you're listening to the audio version of this in the podcast feed, thank you so much. Sorry, I'm behind on getting those up in the podcast feed, but I will start again. Haley's here from Wilderness Trail. Hello, Haley. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you have been well. I need to catch up with you sometime soon. I have a robot made out of litter. Clever. No, it's a smart little thing that does all the litter work for me. So, and also, if you want to support the show, you can do so by using Snuffy Chats, which is our method of super chats. It is in support, of course, of Mr. Snuffleupagus, right back here. Doop, 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 doop. Since we do not have the methods to do super chats yet on the on actual YouTube, the best way to do that is by heading to the Stream Elements link. It is pinned at the top of the YouTube comment section. Also, I just popped it up on screen for you to see. If you use that link, you get your little message right here, your name, your donation, and we appreciate the heck out of that. It goes a long way to support the show. Just it's just nice, you know. I know that everybody's struggling right now. If you can spare a square of toilet paper, I guess it's old. It's a Seinfeld reference. I just unsubscribed. Now I have to subscribe again. You're demanding. Sorry. Maybe you'll pop up as the most recent subscriber here, Jay. That would be really, really funny if that happened. All right. I'm tired of talking. Not that I'm not going to talk the rest of the night, but we are going to get to drinking. And tonight is all Wilderness Trail, which is why Haley's in the chat. We are going to be talking about the fact that they have an 8-year-old high rye bourbon coming out tomorrow, which I am insanely excited for. Eric is going to pick up our bottles tomorrow, and he's basically coming right here to record. So we're going to have probably one of the first reviews of it on the out in the bourbon sphere. And I'm really, really excited for it. We of course have had a great relationship with Wilderness Trail since really they've been around, and since the podcast kind of acknowledged them when we first tried their 4-year bottled and bond wheated bourbon. Oh, you should have brought some Wilderness Trail with you to Alabama, Pat. It's okay though. It's all right. It's all good. Yeah, and so we're just really excited for it. I'm just really, really excited. It's just been one of those things where being able to like grow our stuff alongside a distillery as they are growing as well is just so much fun. And we've been speculating since the beginning, you know, what this product was going to look like, and I'm incredibly excited for it. So yeah, we'll get into more of that discussion as well here in a couple minutes. But first of all, Mr. Don Nishida with the first snuffy chat of the evening. Thank you, Don. Horrible little cheers I just did there. Tony asks, why is Haley not in the stream? Haley, if you want to hop on the stream, buy yourself a small soda at Disney next week. Thank you, Don. Appreciate that. But yeah, Haley, if you want to hop on, feel free to let me know. I will. I can shoot you the StreamYard link if you would like to do that. But I know you're also super busy, so absolutely don't feel pressured at all. Oh, but there you go. She said sure. So let me just send this over to you then. There we go. That was easy. Haley, it's you do see your cigar stuff, Pat, for sure. Marty Whiskey Nose, what's going on, Marty? Hope you're well, buddy. Haley, that is in your Wilderness Trail email, by the way, if you would like to, if you would be able to join. But the first thing I poured was the 6-year high rye bourbon. Stupid daggum. StreamYard's done this thing where it's not allowing me to reconnect to Facebook for some reason. I don't know what's happening, but it's okay. But anyway, their 6-year high rye bourbon, 100 proof bottled and bond. I did a video on this alongside their wheated 6-year-old. I don't remember when that video came out. It's been a little while. It's definitely been a little while. It's been a while since I've had this too. I've got this and then just a bunch of high rye picks. One of which being Picking in the Rain, which we did with the Nashville Bourbon Society. So when the time comes, if you have some, feel free to pour some alongside. Yeah. Still fantastic. Still just a great, solid sipper. And I think that, when this is a talking point that I think I'm going to wind up repeating a little bit. What's going on, Scott? Cheers to you too, buddy, Mr. Fifth Quarter Tailgate. But it's just something that kind of begs to be repeated a little bit. And it's with, some of this older stock that they now have, what's going to happen to their core products, like what's going to happen with say just their regular on the shelf bottled and bond. And I think the indication and everything that we've seen over the past few years is that they will indeed stick with a 4-year-old age statement on that. But in the meantime, we got to bring a friend on to stream. But it was very quick that you on here.
Hi.
Hey, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Yeah, no kidding. I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. I'm super excited for this release tomorrow.
Yeah, I am too. It's going to be nuts, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, we were so Eric is coming down to grab our bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So I will not be there, unfortunately. But it's like we just keep missing each other somehow.
You're avoiding me. It's fine.
No, that's my line. I feel like you're avoiding me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we also were thinking, like, what's it gonna be like? How busy are you guys kind of anticipating it being tomorrow?
You know, ever since our first release of our very first bourbon, we kind of realized how quickly it could become very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so, of course, our first release, we were very excited. We're like, hey, everyone, anyone who's willing to listen,
Yeah.
we have product. And now, once we kind of realized the sheer level of appreciation and involvement that people want to have with our brand, we're like, okay, we need to figure this out a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've kind of done a decent job of like announcing to like you guys and kind of our core family, our Wilderness Trail, our family members. If you sign up, that's one of those benefits, right? If you sign up for the email list, you get to know first about all of our stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So we hold on to that promise. And so we've done a pretty good job, I guess, of like, I made like no social media announcements or anything like that. Mostly just so that we can handle whatever's coming our way.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, but word will spread like wildfire too with something like this.
Oh, sure. I mean, we're here now talking about it. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't want to be part of the problem.
You are.
I know I am. That's the thing, as I have been for like the 3 or 4 years that you guys have been on the market now. But it is just something that like I can't help but get excited for, of course, just because we've loved everything that has come from Wilderness Trail since the very first 4-year-old wheated bourbon that we tried.
You guys were one of the first to grasp on and say, hey, listen, Wilderness Trail, this shit's where you gotta
get on board.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And we're just kind of like continuing to do that just because it's we just believe in what it is that you guys are putting into the barrel and putting into bottles and showing off to the world. But so I of course am noticing now this trend of every 2 years there's a new higher age stated product that's coming out. So 2020 we had the 6-year-old. Now in 22 we have the 8-year-old. Is this a pattern that we can kind of get used to over the next few years, seeing these releases happen?
I would say so, yeah. I wouldn't, I wouldn't say much further after 10 though.
Sure.
As far as, don't put it in your calendar, for
Well,
the
sure.
next.
Yeah. Of course.
But I think, a six, kind of what we've always hoped for was like 6, 8, and 10 to be kind of mile markers for us as
Yeah.
far as age stated product goes. Getting the 6 year out being that our first real truly age stated product was massive for us.
Yeah.
And so to be finally, at this 8 year mark, and truly, next year, 2023 counts for our 10-year anniversary as a business, as a company.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, it is
Man.
absolutely wild to think about. And so, yeah, so I think reaching these goals has just been, massive for us. And so, yeah, definitely at least a 10 years, be looking for
Yeah.
that.
So John from the Embellished podcast said, "Sorry, I had to run an errand. Perry, are you getting a sneak peek, or are we just talking to the goddess of Wilderness Trail?"
The
What
goddess.
what an incredible title to be bestowed with.
I'm
For,
honored, truly, truly
um,
honored. Thank you.
we haven't really talked about like what the product itself is. I don't have anything in hand, John, or anything, but we're just kind of
Was I supposed to do that or
I don't think who are you gonna get in trouble with?
no?
Are Pat and Shane gonna like call you out and go, "What are you doing?"
No, absolutely. Shane
Yeah,
gave me this bottle. He better
yeah.
not.
There we go. So we haven't really gotten to the nitty gritty of the product. But I kind of like I don't want to know too much going into it because the Brian said I saw it.
He
He's
saw
gonna
it.
you're gonna go tell on her now, Brian. But
Better
it's
not.
just I want to go into this the same way that I have with all the other products that you guys have put out,
Sure.
and just completely blind and just
Totally.
go, what do you got for me? So I'm really really excited for where this is gonna. I keep saying, and it's because I don't have a whole lot to, of course, say about it right now, other than just being like, I'm excited for it. But like, that's just the same phrase that I keep using over and over again. But like,
I'm glad.
like what
You're at a
else am I
loss of
supposed to say?
words, Perry.
Yeah.
It's great.
John also said, "No way. We are all showing up on this day at years 12, 14, 16, and so forth. Just leave the door open. We'll find the barrels ourselves."
Perfect. Perfect. I mean, truly, we will have, that's the hope, is that we do get to that point, of having these, just killer
Yeah.
super age product. That's definitely the goal for sure. I think that's been, we often get asked, like, oh, what's next for Wilderness? And it's just like aging.
Yeah, of course.
Holding
Yeah.
that product has truly been, just kind of, and one of the biggest hurdles, just both by time and not being able to rush time, and then being able to hold enough back. It's been an interesting problem to have, to say that we can't fulfill certain orders or do certain things because we're trying to, create
Yeah.
this lineage
Yeah, of course.
of aged bottles. So
Yeah. How much was laid down in 2014 with the intent of it getting to that 8-year age statement?
so more than I expected, to be honest. I was worried that we were going to like get to this point and then have like 2 barrels, right?
Yeah.
to get to
Well,
give
that's naturally everybody's worry, I would say.
and only because it was like, oh, here's this 7-year-old that we gotta do for this special event or this special group or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a 6.5-year-old. I'm like, oh, just to me mentally, I was like, there goes another one.
Yeah.
So definitely more than anticipated. We're going to be able. This is a very special release for. I mean, Perry, I can't emphasize how special this release is. For a myriad of reasons.
We're people of few words this evening, which I feel is pretty
special,
pretty
excited.
accurate.
Special,
yeah, exactly.
Excited.
And I'm especially excited for
it's absolutely a treat to get to this point. But you know, hey, having enough aged product out there that we didn't just completely run out of. You know, this is a big reveal for us in a couple ways. There's been a couple big projects that myself and our team have been working on that's going to be really new and really cool. And it's going to be the first kind of reveal of those things. I don't know how much you want to know about it. I can tell you, but if you want to go in blind.
So this is something that like you guys are going to be revealing tomorrow or just in general over the next few months?
Both. So the
okay.
first reveal of it will be tomorrow. And it will be what we be doing going forward, essentially. So super excited for that. This is a mostly distillery and Kentucky only release. So if you are outside of the state of Kentucky, please find your friends and do something, you know, whatever it is. Perry is going to be a great mule. I know. I know he'll get it out there. Yeah, I'm signing you up. You're in now.
Thank you. Let's get caught up on chat for just a second before we get too bogged down with stuff. Whiskey Tornado, what's going on, Whiskey Tornado? Good to see you in here. Cheers to you too, and love you too, man.
Oh.
John says, I excited in a special way.
Oh boy.
Okay. Clifton's here. Hi, Clifton. Excited for your stream later tonight too. He's going to be talking with Will from Stellum, I think is correct.
Oh yeah, Will. He's great. I love Will.
Yeah. Brian asked, did I catch what the release size is? Do I need to leave right now and pack my tent?
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I think that's an important question. What is the size of the release going to be?
So we are in the thousands for this, so we won't sell out right away. So definitely don't pack your tent, but do get here soon. Walk, run, don't walk. But it'll be, we are in the thousands. I think give or take, the total is around 8,000 bottles for this.
Whoa. That is a lot higher than I was expecting you to say.
It's been one of those things.
Moly.
But that is not just for us. A lot of it's already been spoken for. Unfortunately.
Well, sure. Yeah.
Some of it is going to be released out into, like I said, just the general Kentucky market. Yeah. But a good bit of it will be distillery only purchase. So
I mean that's great. That's really cool to hear. Yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of doing that. And I think it's shy of, it's not even that high, but it's close to that number. So yeah.
John says there's a veritable whiskey tube green room happening in chat here. That's true. I'm already getting some requests for me to hook people up with
Here we go. We're friends.
Special releases. Yeah. John, great comment. The release size is 750 ml.
There you go. Exactly. That's it.
Brian's already saying thank you for being the mule.
This is why you love having me on.
See how it is. Yeah, because you just signed me up for.
Exactly. Just put you to work. It's fine.
Brian's already gonna head. John. 8,000 for 8 years. That means 10,000 for 10 years.
Yeah, that's how that works, right?
Can't argue with that math.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that math. I got to catch up on a snuffy chat as well. It was from Tony Bag of Donuts. He said, cheers to Haley and TIMBP. Picking/drinking in the rain. So he's drinking on our Picking in the Rain pick that we did with Nashville Bourbon Society. And I actually poured some of that as well.
Oh, I thought you were only Wilderness Trail tonight. Okay.
But it is Wilderness Trail.
I know. It's our good stuff. It's our private select stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jeez, what am I getting dragged through the mud here for?
I haven't seen you in a while.
It's true. Yeah, we have to just get it out all at once because it's been a long time. Tony says, hit the like for Haley's impromptu appearance. Yes,
yeah.
please do. So, all right. we weren't expecting an exclusive tonight, but I guess now that it's out of the bag, that there are some reveals that are going to be happening tomorrow and sporadically, periodically, coming up soon too. So, what can you share that also won't get you fired? Much like showing the bottle of the 8-year-old.
Doing a little peep. Doing a little peep.
Yeah.
I will share. No, there are a lot of big things that are coming down the pipeline that I won't, because they're not quite there yet.
Sure.
But don't worry, Perry, you'll get one of the first calls when they are. But I will say, just most of this is just like aesthetics. So
Okay.
you will see what we are going to have is a new bottle.
Oh yeah, that's right.
A new bottle, yeah, which you've seen because I've teased it a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
we talked about it a little bit too. I think that's something that we should bring up too, because not everybody has been going through this thing where there has been the glass shortage and everything, and so you've had to change who your supplier is and everything. Was that? And I'm imagining the answer is yes, but is that a result of a direct result of the glass shortage?
Actually, no. Although it definitely really bumped that up as far as like making it happen.
Sure.
Prior to all this, we had a stock bottle. And though it was beautiful and obviously very recognizable in its own way, we wanted to, it's been kind of in the list of things to do to want to create our own custom mold. We're kind of as a way just to really solidify our branding a little bit more, really move us out of craft and into our own, own style of
Yeah.
things.
Of course.
Really anchor in Wilderness Trail a little bit. And to be honest, one of the big catapults for the way it was structured and designed was because of me. So
Really?
so when we would do these big events, big releases, just massive sampling, I'm pouring samples left and right all day long. I'll get our
I think I know where you're going with this, but yeah, interested.
but you can, so here's our old bottle, right?
Yeah.
Still a beauty, love her to death.
Yeah.
But doing this all day long, because of the way that the bottle, like the width of it,
Yeah.
I actually would get carpal tunnel. And I
believe that.
I would get massive pains in my forearms because of it. And so so we wanted something that looked similar to what we had, but obviously, for legal purposes, change a lot of the customs and dimensions just enough to make sure it's ours legally. But then also create something that I could hold better.
Yeah. Scott said she is girthy. So
yeah.
Do we lose her? Am I still good?
Am
I still on?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry.
No, all good.
You dipped out for a second on my end, so I don't know if that was my fault or anybody else, or I don't know. Eric wants to know if y'all are making any snack cakes.
Snack cakes.
Your little Debbies, your hostesses.
Some treats. It's funny. So Debbie, our HR person, always has snack cakes in her office. We could probably steal from her stash. She keeps them for people to come and take on hand or whatever. So if I've ever been there all day and didn't get a chance to break away from lunch or whatever, I go and take from her snack drawer, and I call it the Debbie special.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Look, next podcast pick that we do at Wilderness Trail.
Yeah.
It's got to be the Debbie special.
The Debbie special.
It's got to be. Can Debbie also be a part of the pick? Can we have her pick it with us? Okay.
Well, we can have her there. She does not like bourbon. So she'll be there and she can talk to you about it, but she won't drink it.
Eric wants to collab with Deb.
Perfect.
So
Debbie's great. Debbie's great. You should always collab with Deb.
perfect. Perfect. So yeah, this new bottle design, I actually like. I appreciate the fact that it is just kind of like the next step away from what the original design was. Will we wind up seeing like any label changes or anything coming up soon? Did I predict something already?
You're on it, Perry.
There we go. There we go. Haley
Look
gets
at
me.
you. Yes, so there will be a couple label changes. Kind of one of the reasons I basically today wrapped up like two really big parts of the projects that we've been working on, and like finally lifted my head from everything, and I was like, this is a lot that we're going to be presenting to people soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we kind of went over like a little bit of a branding, just visually just changing some things. So some things you'll see going forward, our core three will be the same essentially. We have the green, the yellow, and the black label.
Yeah.
What one of the things you'll be seeing going forward is actually our barrel pick labels will be different.
Gotcha.
So those will be kind of this, I don't have any with me, kind of this like metallic-y silver label, and then where whatever, like the rye here, it will be in that green there, or the bourbon
Oh,
will
cool.
be in a yellow or in the black or whatever, just
Nice.
kind of correlate. But that way too, it's pretty much like a no-brainer. You see it on the shelf, that is a barrel pick. For you
Yeah.
who's picking a barrel, picking the Debbie special next, it'll be a silver label with whichever juice you choose in there.
Right.
So something to a little differentiation there, because also for you guys that are picking it, we want it to be a little bit more special, and stand out a little bit more than people, because often we get people who don't understand what the difference is and have
Right.
questions or something, and I'm like, can I see the side of that real quick, or the back or something? And I'm like, oh, it's a barrel pick, that's why. So
Yeah.
so it kind of just differentiates that a little bit.
And I,
And
I imagine that's gonna like even within the gift shop too. That'll be the
oh
same
yeah,
thing, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll stand out all the way through. And that way you'll know, okay, here's your flagship three. There's no questions there. Here's your, barrel picks there. And then last but not least, oh, should I say this one? It kind of involves tomorrow.
Oh,
Do you want
okay.
to know?
Let's go ahead. Yeah. Let's just
Yeah.
find out together.
So last but not least, all of our age stated products, we're moving away. I know if you've seen our 6 year at all, it's like a grayish silver label, right?
Yeah.
And there's no like differentiation between if it's a wheat or a rye or anything in between. We want to know.
Yeah. We
uh,
can't we can't tease the people and then go like, never mind.
Never mind. I'll take it all back. So our
Oh,
age
good stuff.
stated products are going to be, they're now going to be in the correct color. So the rye will be a green label, the wheated will be a yellow label, and the high rye bourbon will be a black label. So now you'll know officially. And then it'll be age stated here at the top. It might be age stated here as well. I can't remember. But you'll see that the age statement, and a couple other things will have a copper embellishments on them. So it'll have copper embellishment around this, copper embellishment here, like a few other places around the bottle. So that way it's just going to have a little extra, finesse to it. So
I like that too, because I mean you're talking about moving away from the like distinguishing yourself as like a craft brand and moving on to it being really it does kind of elevate it for sure. And kind of puts it in the same camp as some of the more heritage brands, I guess. Did somebody tell me recently that Wilderness Trail is actually considered a heritage brand?
We are. Yeah.
Okay, why is that? I can't remember the exact reasoning.
So and I don't know the numbers for sure off the top of my head. But it's pay to play, right? As far as the
Sure,
convention
sure,
bourbon
yeah,
trail goes. That's part of it. But also the idea that you have to have a certain number of barrels actually aging in your rick houses, and you have to have like a certain number of production like levels.
gotcha.
That you're outputting. And there's probably a couple other stipulations there that I don't know off the top of my head. But
Sure,
basically, we qualify for those things, and so we're up there. We're up there in the same family as all the other heritage crews. So it's pretty exciting to be playing with the big boys in a little bit more.
yeah.
So
It was 2019 when you guys made the jump up to the regular trail, right?
mhm. Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, like that's another cool thing too, and as I talk more kind of like poetically about like being able to grow ourselves alongside, a brand that is growing the way that we kind of are. To I mean, not that you know what I mean. I think that I'm digging my own grave in terms of like comparing what we do with the podcast to what a bourbon brand is doing.
Hey,
But,
you've grown
but
a lot.
no, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
You've grown
But
immensely.
yes, but it's just fun to like kind of have some of these earmarks along the way as well. And just, as like we go through changes and things, like we see Wilderness Trail doing big new things as along the way too. And it's just those big moves, like being bumped up to the Bourbon Trail, or being considered a heritage brand, or just things that solidify you guys as a brand for people to be watching. It's
Mhm.
really cool. It's really, really exciting for you all. So
Thank you.
hopefully, yeah, of course. And I imagine I'm going to enjoy and like the 8 year after we pick it up tomorrow. But um I'm just I can't wait to see what's next for you guys too, aside from um, you know, 10-year-old, I guess.
Right?
Eventually.
Let's a couple more years, we hopefully will
Yeah.
be there. So,
We'll get there.
yeah.
We'll get there, I'm
Well,
sure.
thank you. It's been
Yeah.
super exciting for us too. I've been with Wilderness Trail for nearly 5.5 years, and it's really cool to kind of see, because for the majority of that time, prior to them hiring me, it's all still very small, still very much the same.
Yeah.
Um, and so once I came on board, and not because of me, it's making sound like that, they just could afford to hire me.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But really, watching them just basically grow exponentially from there has been just super cool and super exciting. And it's really fun to also have people, who say like, oh, well, I was just there last year. And I'm like, well, if you haven't been here in a year, you better come back. It's all different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the last time that I was there, I think I even like texted you with, you know, the same sentiment that like I feel like every time that I'm here there's a new Rick House going up,
Yeah.
or something has changed drastically. And I mean, even just like I can't remember how long you all have been doing it, but just having pours and cocktails available for people in the gift shop, which
Mhm.
I really don't understand why more distilleries don't do that. I don't know if it's a licensing thing, or they're just too lazy to do it, or what.
Mm.
But I Scott says Wilderness Trail is still open only because of Haley.
That's right. That's right. It's me.
Again, big props to you. Let's all thank Haley for the great news and joining on a whim. Yes, seriously, thank you for hopping in
Yeah, of
at the last
course.
moment, because
Well,
really appreciate that.
I can't
Let's
have you
catch.
talking trash without me here to
I was gonna talk trash.
I
Like
know.
I was gonna sit here and just bash a brand that I love. Papa Ritter's in. He said I saw that Haley was on, and I said, "Holy shit!"
Operator,
Hey, Haley.
hi. It's been so long.
uh, Brian says so much with good with Wilderness Trail coming. Absolutely. John says adamantium labels for Wilderness Trail picks. Love it. Thank you for making it easier on us. That was in reference to the age statements on the labels.
Hey, we gotta make it bright and shiny.
Yeah, let people. Yeah, my saying is always, I cater to the lowest common denominator, or
Mm-hmm.
assume that your audience is stupid. Like,
I say when it comes to especially like advertising and like marketing stuff that people are drunk moths and we're just gonna go for the
yeah,
shiniest, brightest thing we can find. So
yeah. Uh, John says last time I was there was after dark during the Bourbon Chase last year. Snagged the last
oh,
available bottle select for the race. That's cool.
nice.
That's really
Very
cool. I didn't know that distilleries did like exclusive bottlings for the Bourbon Chase.
I
Or at
don't
least
know
you
if
guys
others
do.
I was gonna say I don't know if others
Yeah.
do, but I think we were the last stop on the chase. I can't remember last year how it was routed, but we might have been the last stop on the Bourbon Chase. So we wanted to do kind of like a big, finish line thing
Yeah,
if people
absolutely.
wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah. Clifton says, "Love seeing the progression of Wilderness Trail. I hope other younger craft distilleries learn from you." I think that's a really important thing to bring up too, is showing people how you all are a good business model as far as like up and coming bourbon brands should be treated, and how people should kind of like give themselves the chance to succeed down the
Yeah.
line. And I mean, it is tough aging bourbon. The best thing about it is that it takes a while to be good, and the worst thing about it is that it takes a while to age and be good. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just not shooting yourself in the foot before you've even gotten out the door, I think, is hugely important for brands. And yeah, it's nice to. I think Clifton's very right that if young craft distilleries are going to look to anybody, um, it should definitely be Wilderness Trail.
Well,
Uh,
thank you.
of course, Joseph says Wilderness Trail. They're no Woodinville. I kid. I kid.
No, I love my Woodinville people.
Do love Woodinville.
No, and thank you guys. Like there's a lot of there's a lot of learning as a young distillery, even with as much as like Shane and Pat like knew beforehand with fermentation side of things and everything like that.
Yeah.
That's as much as experienced as they were to that. That's not to say that they never had a batch go bad or a tank
Yeah, of course.
completely overflow or whatever. You're still young. You're still cutting your teeth. And at 4 years, you're just hoping that barrel is as good as it was. Obviously you're testing and tasting and
Yeah.
whatever. But you're only going to improve that skill. It just is one of those that's going to the outcome takes a lot longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Have you guys had anything that you were really, really excited about, but just once you tried it, were super, super disappointed with? Like, has there been a specific, not failure, but uh, something that missed the mark, I guess?
There's been maybe not something that like we've been necessarily like holding up for or shit. This 8-year better be good. No, I'm trying
It's already bottled and ready to go, and you're like, you know what?
to
I hope it actually has kind of any merit
hope
to it.
it's fine. No, there's not necessarily been anything that we've really like put a lot of special care effort into outside of the norm. But we've had a couple bad batches here and there
Sure.
that escaped us. We had one batch of our high rye bourbon that went out, and it just didn't meet our standards. And after, and then of course it went out, and then we tasted it and we were like, oh, this isn't good. This
Yeah.
isn't what we want to put out. And because of that, of course, we now have another level of quality control for it.
Good.
So we're always still learning as far as that goes. Right now, currently, we have, I guess, like 3 steps for quality control. One being, of course, the initial firm, as we're testing our firm to make sure it's not, the batch isn't going bad, and we're doing sweet mash. So we always got to have, our finger on the pulse as far as that goes. But also, then testing the white dog for fault test every day, just doing a single run of that. And, you try to kind of test through the barrels, but you're not obviously going to test every single one as it's aging,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That would be an impossible task. And one I'm not up to, unfortunately.
A very fun Thursday for somebody.
Oh my God. Yeah. So because of that, there have been a few days. So now we do a panel on top of that for every batch that goes through. And it's a panel of 3. And usually it's Macaulay, our distillery ops manager, and then our lab manager as well. So 3 people going through it. I've done it a few times just to make sure, somebody can't be there, whatever. But just because, and it was because of that single batch that we were like, okay, we can't just assume that. And part of it too was, we weren't doing, we're only doing the single barrel stuff for a long time. So going into those small batches, and kind of letting that kind of coast a little too much, for what it was. So we haven't had any that are like, oh, woof, that was a disappointment.
Yeah.
But that one in particular, I can think of that we were like, okay, we should probably check this out a little bit more thoroughly.
It's really funny that you brought up that it used to be only single barrels, because I completely forgot about that. It just, I don't know why that got left out of my my memory bank, but like I guess I've just, it's been so long since that first run, that first era of products where it was all single barrels wheated bourbons that were
Yeah.
going out on the market.
Yeah.
I
It was all just single barrel wheat, single barrel rye whiskey.
Man.
So our high rye was the first thing we ever did a small batch with,
Yeah, that's right.
And so, and now, our batches are larger, not by much, but they're larger. So there's a little bit more room, there's a little bit, even with like a 21 barrel batch, 1 barrel can still spoil that whole
Yeah,
lot,
of course. Of course. Yeah.
It's not like 500 barrels, and if you get in there and you're like, it'll blend out, it all comes out in
What's
the wash.
out of the core 3 products, what has been, at least from your experience or what you've heard, the most difficult to batch out of them all?
Oof,
And maybe not like on a consistency level, maybe just, like has there been just one thing that it's been a tougher nut to crack than anything else?
I would say, it would be a toss up between the 2 bourbons. The rye whiskey, just, it's got such a beautiful flavor profile, and they're so, when they're batched, they're so consistent. And I don't really know why that is. Other than just kind of our general, the way it's made. But I think it would be a toss up between the 2 bourbons, just because there's so much variation that we found between the 2,
Yeah, sure.
as far as that goes. Or we'll have, single barrel wise, and of course that's always the fun of the barrel picks. But I tasted one from New Orleans, the New Orleans Bourbon Fest barrel picks, and they did 6, and they were also wildly different. And I think that's probably why, one, it was just incredibly cinnamon. It was just a cinnamon roll. It's just a cinnamon roll. That's all it was. It was a massive liquid cinnamon roll. It was great. And so I think that's it. Like there's I think with the weeded, sometimes it was a little tough in the beginning. But now that we're really consistently into like a little bit older of a weeded product, only because those wheats take on such heavy oak flavors in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It takes a little bit for them to kind of, mellow out, kind of ditch a lot of the, green apple and go more into, those deeper fruit notes and things like that. So I think that between those two would be a little bit more tough, but it's really not been like a massively difficult like change for us,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The I think that where that kind of stems from is when I was talking to Joe Beatrice from Barrel last year,
Mm.
talking about and you all have only done one 4-grain blend, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his comment was just how easy it is for wheat to change a wheated bourbon to change a blend.
Hmm.
It just, it's very easy to add a little bit and it just completely throws it off. And it's all very, very, very tight in terms of the measurements and everything.
Sure.
So I didn't know if there was like something that also kind of lent itself to making like a wheated blend a little bit more difficult to batch out. But I, I don't know. That's where my brain went.
I think
Um,
I think because it's only consistently wheat, like instead of trying to like blend different nuances of a wheat versus a rye or whatever you're doing,
yeah,
I think it kind of helps it more in the long run.
yeah, sure, yeah,
Just because you're kind of softening out, because wheat obviously, like, wheat's just like a sponge when it comes to flavors, right? It just like
yeah,
soaks up all those wood, those lignins, and just takes it for a ride for a little bit. And I think that if you have that blended and done well, obviously, that I think it kind of softens that out a little bit to where there's
yeah,
not such these like harsh differentiations between wheat, single barrel, single barrel, single barrel. So I
yeah.
don't know. I think it might help for if it's strictly wheat only, in the blend itself.
Right, right. So I think this is going to be my last pour of the stream.
What are you drinking?
This is, as far as I know, the highest proof single barrel pick to come from you guys, and it was Sweet Mash Disruptors 2,
Yeah.
118 ish proof, closer to 119,
Yeah, either that or
because it's 59.83.
was our I think that's the highest one. I want to say that our Derby pick was really close. I'm trying to find it if I have a picture of it
Yeah,
somewhere.
no problem. But
Um,
it was one of those things where I saw it on the shelf and I just like seeing it at that proof point.
you were
I
like,
I had
yeah.
to get it. I had to get it. I had to find out because, so much of them are around, 110 to 115, and I just had to know what something closer to 120 was going to be like.
This was our highest one. So that was not our highest one. Our highest
Okay.
one, and it wasn't our. It was our 100th fermentation that we did. So it was a
Okay.
special bottle that we did, and it was our, to commemorate our 100th fermentation. And it was a 6-year wheated bourbon at 120 proof.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure 120 that's the highest. So definitely
Yeah.
18, 19, anything in that like range is by far the highest we've ever had.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
Yeah.
great. Whatever happened to that? Was that available to people?
Gift shop only. And it was
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
that, yeah. So it was
Yeah.
available. It was gift shop only. And this was, gosh, I just got rid of the date on it. It was last year. No, I think it was earlier than that. I'll find it again. Hold on.
You're good.
But it was gift shop only, and it went so fast because we didn't have very many bottles of it at all. So if for those that maybe feel like they missed out, you did, but there was very few, very few to go through. Okay, so October of 2020. So the years that don't count.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
The year that never happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
We
funny
were
though. I the right before the pandemic started, I think was the last time that you and I sat down together, like in person, because I came to the distillery and Shane wound up sitting down with us. I mean,
Oh, great.
that was like 2 or 3 weeks before the pandemic actually started.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my last interaction with a person for a long time.
Just at all. Just at
Just at
all.
all, any
Yeah.
people. No, that was it. You're the last. This is the first time I've talked to anybody since then. You're the first
Wow.
person in the last.
You're doing great for somebody who's not spoken
Yeah,
in, over 2 years at this point.
I'm
But
very mentally healthy. Yes.
nothing says I am doing really well mentally like saying I'm just doing great right
I'm
now. Just
just doing great. Fine. It's all fine. It's all fine.
Oh, good stuff. Well, I am not going to keep you any longer because I know that you have a big day ahead of you tomorrow. And I'm just so excited for you guys. And I can't wait to see what this product is going to be like in the glass. But Haley, thank you so much for hanging out and chatting about all things Wilderness Trail, of
Always.
course, for a while. And we will definitely have to catch up soon. But it is great to see you as always. And congratulations again.
Thank you, Perry. Good to see you too. Everybody, come tomorrow. Be patient. It's gonna be hot. It might be
Yes.
storming. I don't know. So we'll see. Come see
Yeah.
me. I'll be in the garage. Macaulay and I are handling the garage, and we're calling it the garage sale. So just come to our
Perfect.
garage sale. We'll have 8-year-old bourbon.
Love it. All right, Haley. Thank you so much. Great to see you
Thank
again.
you.
Talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye. All right. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here in just a moment as well. But thank you all so much for watching. We're going to have, like I said, one of, I would imagine, to be the first reviews for the 8-year-old. And that's actually going to come out next week. That'll be next week's episode. So be on the lookout for that. I think that's about it for this week's stream. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to listen to the podcast. Go subscribe to it wherever you get podcasts and all that good stuff. I won't see you next week, like I said at the top of the stream, but I will see you in 2 weeks for another stream. Hope you all have a really great week. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys as always. See you real soon. But until then, I'm Perry, and this is TIMBP Live.